right, here we go. We've got the luckiest job in Auckland today because we're inside and we're keeping dry, and it's pretty exciting outside, and it has been since about Friday last week. I thought what we'd do today is I'll take you through 10 tips. I'll just call them tips, points which are certainly designed or focused for real estate agents. But maybe if you're lucky enough that you're not, and I say that with tongue in cheek because it's a pretty tough market for the agents. If you're not a real estate agent, we'll be able to convert these and use them in business and use them in life also. So here we go. Number one, have written targets and goals. I know you've all heard that before. There's nothing unusual about that. But instead of just with income or whatever your activities are within a period, say a year, what I'm going to do this year, let's drill that down and have your written targets and goals specific. So if we're real estate, we're now saying how many in a week, how many buy-in runs are you going to do? How many doors are you going to do? How many door knocks? How many connects are you aiming for? And remember, guys, you'll all know this, but if you knock on a door and nobody answers, it doesn't count. It's got to be a connect where you've managed to say hello to a person and engage with them. How many database calls are you going to do this week or in that period? How many listing appointments do you want? So you set a target. These are the listing appointments that I want. Here's a little bonus on the back of that one. Put them into your diary already. So in your diary, maybe you're going to want to sit in front of people Wednesday night, Thursday night, Tuesday night. Say 7 o'clock is what you choose. So you put those into your calendar, and then what you're trying to do now is populate that with an address and get somebody booked into it. So this week, I'm working and filling in next week's or the following week, always working forward that I've got somebody to sit in front of for the listing appointment. Now, open homes, what's your target on open homes? You could do exactly the same. Now, you can cheat if you said, I want to do 3 open homes in a week. Maybe it's the same property 3 times. I don't know. But have a target as you go through. So for the salespeople, for the agents that haven't got listings on the market right now, put those calendar appointments in, create the pressure to go and find a slot and fill a slot, and do the same with open homes. Put those into your calendar and go, man, I need to get a listing so I'm in the market and I'm in front of people and I meet more people as I go through. So that was the first point I put in there. Have written targets and goals. The second point, have a results buddy. And this person keeps you accountable for the goals that we've just spoken about. Now, here's a suggestion around that. When you catch up with your buddy, you're only talking numbers. So I know if you're going to do your target and achieve your target, it's the number you talk about, or you say done, or you say my target was 10, I did 10. Now, if it's not a number and it's a story, it tells me you haven't done it. So don't do that. Don't sit with your buddy and have a story. Not interested. How disrespectful of the other person's time and effort. So be accountable to each other. But come back and talk numbers, not stories, and talk about what you've achieved. Now, here's one. Now, they won't tell you this, but just remember, no one cares about your problems. No one cares about your excuses. I know your sales manager does. I know your business owner does. But no one cares about your problems or excuses because in reality, they've got their own. That's what they're worried about. Number 3, avoid time robbers. So I think when I first did that, I was thinking, oh, that's those people that rob the time off you. So that's the easy part. But look out for the other ones that creep up and get you, and that's going to be your Facebook, maybe your Instagram, anything like that. I know Facebook, cheeky old Facebook, it robs time off me. I have a quick look at it, and the quick look gets longer when I see who was the puncher with the biggest hits in the boxing ring, or watch this fight. I'm like, oh my God. And it takes away from that. So appreciate and have respect that Facebook, Instagram, you can be really good for getting your brand out there and brand awareness. But at the same time, it's going to rob you of time. So use it to deliver. Don't get absorbed by it as you go through. Number 4, this is something that I worked on last year and I found it very valuable. And it's an easy concept, but it's a detailed concept. And the concept is the one thing principle. And you would describe that as what's the one thing I could do now to, and that's going to be to achieve your result or your target. So if we're in real estate, what's the one thing I could do now that would give me a listing? What's the one thing I could do now that would generate an offer on one of my listings? What's the one thing now that I could do that would get a buy run on one of my properties? And what you're looking for is the biggest one thing. And sometimes if we get the one thing right, then all the other things, the trivial few things, or that you've got few things which are very important, then you've got the trivial many. So the trivial many, you may not have to do it if that one thing pays off. Spend a little bit of time thinking about what that one thing is. If you can work that principle, it works really well. So as I said, it's easy, but it's detailed. Next one, number 5, discipline. Quite often I get asked about this, about discipline, and what I'm looking at is self-discipline. And it doesn't matter if we're applying real estate or we're applying getting to the gym in the morning or doing our activity at the gym. Mo in the gym this morning took us through some really good boxing drills. And I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. I did what I had to do. And he was able to make the decision on that. So the best description for me, the one I really like about discipline is doing what needs to be done, not doing what you want to do. And if I can look back in 20 years in real estate, people get busy. They're doing what they want to do, but they're not doing what they should do. So you can play with that other stuff, but do this stuff first. So hopefully you're seeing already, that's 5 points. You're seeing that these are all starting to come together. Next one, farm area. Real easy one, just a real easy tip on this. We've done work on farm areas already. Become the most famous salesperson. Become the most famous agent in your farm area. That's your goal. Become the most famous person. Get to know everybody. Make sure everybody knows you as you go through. You would, if there's a petrol station in your farm area, that's where you buy all your gas from. Doesn't matter where you live. If there's a dairy in your farm area, a convenience store, that's where you buy everything on that scale. You eat in your farm area. You don't eat anywhere else. This is business. This is the way you do it. Now, if you're outside of real estate, it's the same thing. In your market, you're going to become the most famous in your market. And our markets are normally actually quite small. Our market through the bays here, not terribly big, but we want to be the most famous. I say not terribly big, 19,000 houses. Next one. Number 7, this will be interesting. See how you feel about this. And I appreciate that I'm only giving you my opinion, and there's a good chance that I'm wrong. So I'm wrong in a lot of things, but it's just some thought. So the next one is reduce the volume of decisions you make on a daily basis. Reduce the volume of decisions you make on a daily basis. Here's an example. Do the same thing at the same time. Have patterns as you go through. It might be you go to, this is a very good one. You go to sleep at the same time every day. It doesn't change on the weekends, every day. And you wake up at the same time and it doesn't change. Here's the danger on the weekend. You go to sleep later, your body still wakes up earlier. Meals. Eat at the same time as you roll through. I'm trying to get through 5 meals a day now. So they've got to be at the same time. I've got to have that 2-hour break. Otherwise, suddenly it's 9 o'clock at night I'm eating. And that's not going to be good when you're trying to sleep. So if the more consistent you can get on that, comes back to discipline, the less decisions you make. Now, I'll show you one that shows how crazy I am. I'll give you 2 examples, and they're both around food. I've tried to improve my diet because it's constant and never-ending improvement. So now I've got 5 meals a day, and it's the same meal, the same 5 meals every single day, 7 days a week. And I've now been doing that for 90 days in a row. And it's just easy. I don't have to think. I've even got Alex helps me. Alex cooks 3 of the base meals, and those are sitting there ready to go every single day, measured and ready to go. I don't have to think about that. Next one, I go to a restaurant. They put the menu in front of me, and people that have come out for dinner with me, they know this. My answer is, you just choose. I eat anything. I'm not allergic to anything. Just go for it. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be upset. I'll eat what's put in front of me. It's pretty lucky if you're ex-army that you're pretty well trained on that. But again, it takes away that decision making. And yet I see the guys I'm sitting with at dinner, they spend all this time staring at the menu. Then they can't choose between 2 things. Okay, mate, couldn't we not be talking about things instead of trying to make decisions? So there we go. I appreciate I'm crazy, and that's an example or an insight into that. But I make so many decisions, I can't afford to waste my time on decisions that don't need to be made. I've got 5 offices. I've got a property management business. I've got a renovation. I've got finance interests. I've got business partners in those businesses also. So I need to keep my decision capacity to the ones that are important, not the trivial sort of things like that. Now, next one, number 8. Feeling uncomfortable is a good indicator that you're doing good. Feeling uncomfortable is a good indicator that you're feeling good. 2 examples. In the gym, if you're uncomfortable with the exercise, and I don't mean that it's causing you harm or hurting, but if it's uncomfortable and you're having to push yourself, great. Imagine you're in the gym and you're on the treadmill or you're on the bike, maybe the assault bike, and you're working away at a level where you feel comfortable. Wow, no results in that. Next one. Prospecting. If you feel uncomfortable about going out and doing door knocks, and I did when I first started, that's good. You're in the right place. If you're in your office and you feel comfortable doing your admin, you're in the wrong place. Now, number 9, improving rapport. We talk about this quite a lot, and we talk about the initial few seconds when somebody makes up their judgment on you. And it can be anywhere from 4 to 10 seconds. It's probably closer to 10 seconds. Within that period of time, they've made a decision. After that, it's either going to be easy going for you or you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole with the impression that you've created. So creating rapport, here's a very simple tip. People like people who are like them. People like people who are like them. So find out what you've got in common with them. Have a look at that. If you are similar to them, they're going to like you. If you've got the same name, you like that person straight away instantly, don't you? Now, the next one is people like people who are, I'll get this right. People like people who are like them, and people like people who like them. So if you like the other person, they're going to start liking you. So have a look and see what you like about them. Give them a compliment. So it's pretty straightforward there on developing rapport. If you say, hey, great shoes, I really like your shoes, then what they hear is that you like them. So that's a great way to get started. Number 10, so we're coming down to the end now. Number 10, as I look at it, prospecting. In here, what I'm thinking about is do it now. If you wait until you feel like doing it, you're not going to do it. So you need to put that discipline around your prospecting. And every business is looking at prospecting. Easiest way to get it, put it in the calendar and make that commitment. So that comes back on everything we did. We've got the goals sitting in there. You've got your accountability buddy. You remember with them, you're talking numbers, not a story as you go through. And then with our prospecting, just do it now. If you feel uncomfortable, good. You know you're in the right zone. Use your calendar to make sure you've got the commitment to do it. And when I've got the commitment in the calendar for me, so it's prospecting for me, it's the gym for me, that it's eating the meal on the time so that I'm not rolling in the day, then I don't cancel on me. That's the most important meeting. You keep it in there. So here's something I heard and I thought it was really great. So see if I can get the words in the right mix as this comes out. You can't complain about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. You can't complain about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. So there we go. That was 10. I hope that's been helpful. I hope you've been able to translate that out, and certainly for the agents, salespeople out there, I hope that's some points in there you suddenly go, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to run with that. And I'll give you a bonus as we go out of here. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If I skip the gym this morning because it's raining and I don't think my training buddies are going to be there or I can get out of it, I'll skip other meetings during the day. It's just not on. I'll cancel on myself. So nope, you must go. If I have lost count of my reps and I think, man, I don't know, is that 8 or is that 9? I'll do extra so I don't cheat myself. I won't drop short on something. That's on your reps in the gym. That might be on your doors as you go through. That might be on your time commitment in your calendar. If I've got an hour down for connecting through prospecting, 45 minutes, you don't get to bail. If you wonder, was that an hour or when did I start? Do some extra so you're on top. So the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And I know that, guys, because the people that are late to meetings with me are the ones that are late running their open homes. And the people that are early and efficient and everything's tidy, I know their open homes are going to be great. So there we go, just my opinions. I hope that's been helpful. I hope there's something in there that you've heard. Maybe you've heard it before, and this time around, it's connected for you. So there we go. If you're an Aucklander or anybody in the country right now, I think Northland and getting down through the Coromandel, I hope you stay dry and I hope you're safe while you're listening to this. Thank you.